Okay, I'll click OK here.
Evening, everyone. Anyone that's watching. Hi, Louise.
Hi, Jackie. Hi,
How
everybody.
lovely to see you. So, a year and 2 days since we met. Um,
Yes.
yeah, because you came over. So, Louise is in Ireland, but came over for Tim Wilde's event that we did last year in. I didn't even put a memory up about it. I can't remember. Usually
Yeah,
it comes up
it
saying
was
the
in
memory.
Wells. In Wells.
In
What a beautiful
Wales, near
spot.
Glastonbury.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful.
It
Really,
honestly,
really lovely.
yeah.
I have to
And
say,
then
Tim was great. His work like is fantastic. We sort of plugged into Tim. We found him like one of these kind of spontaneous things that you don't as it goes. And it was early on during the pandemic, and his work really helped us a lot, like in the early days. And then we connected, Tim and I connected, and then he was like, we're having an event in Wells, why don't you come? And I was like, okay, grand. And then we met you, and it was just wonderful, absolutely fabulous. What a lovely
was
group of people there in that area.
absolutely, it was,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Really was. In fact, I'll look while you're speaking, probably. I'll look up and just find a few photos from that because it was
All
such,
right.
yeah, because we all met outside the Wells Cathedral.
Yeah, it was so beautiful,
Yeah.
absolutely beautiful. And I have to say, like at that point, that my clairvoyance had started to open up as well. And I was just seeing all these massive big golden orbs all around the cathedral and all around us, during that event. And it was just, I took a few photos and they came out, and it was just amazing. Like it was so beautiful. It was very special to Ed and I, and yeah, it's great, We're meeting all these very interesting people that are like yourself, all like new people coming in,
Yeah.
that yeah, it's really very cool.
Mistakes are there? There's no mistake.
There
You
are no
know,
mistakes. No, there's no mistakes. AMU say that too. Yeah, it's so true.
yeah, it's all divinely timed, I think. And so
Yeah.
the reason I said to Louise, shall we have a chat, is because she's written a trilogy of books, and which was quite incredible because 4 years ago, you would never have thought you, what are we, 2024? Yeah, and this started in 2021.
Yeah, yeah. And I really and truly never would have envisaged this path for myself. I had a pretty traditional corporate kind of, working away, doing my thing. Um, and yeah, it was just a huge awakening experience that I had on the 14th of February, 2021. I'll never forget it.
Can
Um,
you tell us a bit about that? Because I just read that in the book, at the start of the book when you say that happened. But were you looking, like, why did you go to that? Who was it? Neil?
Yeah, Neil
Yeah.
Bird. And he's since retired. Neil has since retired. So I caught him just in time.
Yes, you did, for sure. Because, like, when I read it, I was thinking, oh, who's that?
I know a couple of people have actually gone to him for readings, but he's retired now and he's really enjoying it and it's lovely and everything else. But yeah, Neil was part of my journey, a massive big part of it. And yeah, I suppose just the lockdown in general, was very, we found it very restrictive, very stifling, very hard during the early days. But then I kind of started to embrace it then. I started to embrace it afterwards because I realized it was the quiet time that was allowing me the space to go in and go up. And the Akashic reading with Neil like was part of that, and it wouldn't have happened otherwise. If I was still going along in my job and doing my thing and just the usual routines of life,
Yes.
there's no way that I would have searched for that at the time. So I really am grateful to the lockdown experience for that, even though it was hard and everything. But it was the portal, it was the opening for me to actually look for something to give me a lift. And I found Neil, he just popped in. And I read a few of the testimonials and I was like, oh yeah, that seems good. Yeah, and I contacted him and I was like, okay, let's go into this with an open mind and an open heart. And I wouldn't have been open. I suppose I wouldn't have been that open to that kind of thing in the past, but I just thought, give it a go. And as soon as I met Neil, like, I mean, he's a gorgeous man. He's lovely. And so obviously so seasoned in his work and everything, you know, and we had a great chat and the whole lot. And then he said, look, Louise, we're going to go on a meditative experience. You're going to meet your guides. And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah, you're going to meet them. And it's, you know, he didn't suggest anything, but he was like, you know, you're going to go into this meditative kind of state and you're going to meet your guides and say hello and see what happens, you know. And I was like, okay. So I just opened my mind and my heart to it. But that was the catalyst. It was so visceral. I'll never forget it. As long as I live, I'll never forget that. That was the first opening for me, you know, and it was just a huge, huge pivot in my life, you know. From one day to the next, everything changed.
So you'd obviously meditated before.
I had meditated before, but not, I had never had kind of visual experiences before. So I would have meditated for relaxation and
Yes,
deep
because I've
breathing.
meditated, but I've never had an experience like that.
Yeah, it was quite he just said, look, it was part of your journey. It was going to happen at some point.
Yeah, you were
Yeah.
ready.
You know, I suppose I was ready. I mean, you know, at the age of 48, it happened at the age of 48. And yeah, it was transformational, like big time, you know. And I suppose, I mean, I could have, as Ed said to me, you know, he said to me afterwards, well, you know, you had a choice at that point. You could have gone left or right. You could have decided that was just your imagination and leave it be and carry on with your old way of living. Or
Yes.
you can actually, you know, take it on board, you know, do what Neil suggested, which is the journaling, and go that direction, you know. And I just said, what the hell? I'll go that direction and see what happens.
Amazing. So this is like the first book. Oh, I don't know if you'll see
Yeah,
because I've got this
yeah,
background on. I'll take the
yeah.
background off.
Oh, it's all right. Yeah, cracked open. That was the first book. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, virtual background, none. I'll come back to normal.
Oh, I love your butterflies. They're gorgeous.
Oh, aren't they? Transformational, yeah. Someone in Feng Shui said about how good it is to have pictures of sun coming through trees.
Oh,
So
it's
I didn't
beautiful.
I didn't
That's
procrastinate. I'll
beautiful.
get the whole wall done.
It's
And then
gorgeous.
I stuck the butterflies on.
That's beautiful.
So that's it, Cracked Open by Louise Delaney. And
Yeah,
that was your first book.
yeah,
And like I thought I would just open it one page just to save for tonight. Like,
yeah.
no. And the page I opened it at, The Age of Love.
Oh, that's
So
lovely.
yeah, and this was
Yeah.
on 24th of November 2021. I feel prompted to ask you about the age of love. Could we have a chat about this, please? To the AMU, and AMU is the
The Ascended Masters United.
oh, okay, yeah. I thought it was the M stood for something else.
Well, it actually
Maternal.
does. Yeah, it stands for a maternal universe. It stands for that as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So yes, I mean, like I've been talking recently with Ben Palmer. Have you seen him?
No, I haven't. Not yet. No.
He's in South Africa, but he's all about love, and every day just putting these little meme type things up. You are love, you're unconditional love, you are loved unconditionally. And then I open that, and yeah,
Oh,
so I don't think we can hear enough about how much love is important to us.
it's so true, Jackie. It's so true. You know, I think we're at a crossroads. You know, we're at a fork in the road as humanity, you know, and
Yeah,
we have a choice. So either we're gonna um accept the invitation, this golden invitation that there is for each of us, you know, to go and to really live our lives in, you know, along this age of love, or we're just going to keep going through the motions and, you know,
that's be quite
go
depressing.
go around in circles basically, you know, and accept all of this atrocity on the earth. And I, you know, just from speaking to people in my day to day, I know that more and more people are becoming very intolerant to the warfare across the planet, and they're becoming much more you know, it used to be an accepted byproduct of government and whatever else, but people are starting to really really rise up against it and say, no, this is not how we want the earth to be. This is not, we do not agree with this, you know, and that's part of love, you know. Love, I mean, it's a very benevolent and beautiful feeling, and it's very, I suppose in some ways it's passive, it's, you know, but in other ways, you know, love is you know, there's these other aspects to it, which, you know, the vibration of love means we need to voice our concern about all of these other problematic
Yes,
things, you know.
yes.
Yes,
And
and
but send love to that, because even the
yeah,
politicians that are creating these situations, I believe,
yeah,
as much as anything. But I do think that so many posts on Facebook, do you feel that's attracting it as well? Because like if you keep focusing on it, what you focus on, you attract. So if you're focusing on the love and what we truly want to see in this universe, in
yeah,
this, you know,
yeah, yeah,
yes, it's a big one,
yeah,
it really is. So have you asked that question? I mean, there's so many
yeah,
questions in
yeah,
that first book. It really is amazing. You know, just no wrong decisions in life. I
yeah,
AMU, Ed and I made the decision to move home. Can we chat about this, please? You know, no wrong decisions in life. I know you're talking about home there, but in general, there is
yeah.
no, to say it's wrong is going upstream, isn't it? It's not going with the flow of life.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, to be honest with you, Jackie, like it's been a massive education for me over the last few years to bring forward these books and to sort of receive the downloads, type it all out, and then read it and try and digest it. It's been a huge education for me because um I suppose I always thought there was more to life than just the humdrum of life, you know. I always thought there was more, but I didn't really tap into it, let's say. And that point in time on the 14th of February 2021 was the time when it shifted. And ever since then, I've completely and utterly opened up. My heart is opened, and you know, I trust in my intuition now. I trust in what comes through to me. If I ask a question, I immediately receive a response, and I trust in that. And I know that that's the way it should be for everyone, all of us, you know, that
Yes.
we are born with this innate and natural intelligence that flows through us in every moment. You know, with every breath, we are actually, you know, with every breath, we are breathing the divine through us, you know. It's such a sacred experience to be here, and we don't even realize it. I didn't realize it for like donkey's years. And it's
Yeah.
only now that I'm really, really tapped into that. And of course, I get my days and I get times when I'm thrown off and all that, but I'm able to bring myself back again, you know. And it's every moment, you know, is a moment, a sacred moment, you know. And that realization, it liberates so much energy. I mean, it's amazing.
Without a doubt. Do you
It's
know, I've had a realization just in speaking to you, Louise, because
yeah,
I was in January of 2010, well, giving my age away, but anyway, in January of 2010, I was watching Robert Holden with Oprah Winfrey,
yeah,
and I was leading up to my 49th birthday. So when you had this happen, you were leading up to your 49th.
that's right.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
and every 7 years is a new beginning. But
Oh,
so
right.
seven sevens, 49, that was when I went, that was the very day I started my happiness course in London with Robert Holden, on that day, on my
Oh,
birthday. And we're also both Cancerians because I saw your birthday in the book.
yeah. Oh, that's amazing, Jackie.
Honestly, and so it's something about like every 7 years is a new beginning for each of us. It's like, you know, up to 7 years old, we're like sponges.
Yes, yes, yeah,
Then every 7 years, you know, we start a new phase, and that certainly started a new phase for me. You know, going to that course with Robert, because I'd never gone away before or done anything like it. But you know, it's just, I think you
that's
were
amazing.
fast tracked because of what was happening as well, because you've done so much in 4 years.
Yeah, that's amazing, Jackie. that's really cool. Like I didn't even realize that now, that every 7 years you have this.
New beginning.
It's like they did say that, like, AMU told me like that the non-physical part of us is 70% and the physical part of us is 30%. And they told me that. And they said, the body is very, very important, very sacred. And the body is the 30% of our entirety. And then the 70%, the non-physical aspect of us, our light body, transits through us, like, in every moment. And I was like, oh, that's interesting, the 7. So maybe that relates to the 7 years. I don't know whether it does or not, but.
Well, it could well do, but the fact that you've acknowledged that 70% as well, it'd be really helpful for people to know that for their own spiritual growth. Do you
Yeah,
think?
yeah, because I lived a very I suppose I had a difficult childhood, and I suppose I just no, I have a great family and everything, but and it's no fault to anyone. I'm not, but
Generational
it
anyway,
wasn't
that
great. It was
the best.
generational. It
Yeah.
was generational. They thought everyone was doing their best, but yeah. So there was trauma, and then I sort of closed. My heart sort of closed down, and then I just moved into what I thought I needed to be like. I was very, very sensitive as a child. I was able to see the auras around people. Anytime I said that to anyone, it was shut down, and I was like, "What do get your eyes tested." Or whatever. So that was fine. So I sort of, to fit in, I sort of put myself into this kind of container, and tried to be what I thought, was expected of me in the society I was in. And that was fine. But, I was on antidepressants for years and years and years because I was so unhappy, so unhappy, like, for years. And I even though I was going through the motions of everyday life, and I suppose I was successful on paper, I was made it well, I did well in corporate life. I married my first husband. That was a disaster. The poor guy, like, it was just everything, just, but then this experience happened. And from one day to the next, and this is the message I have for people, which is it can all transform in one day. It can happen in one day, from one day to the next. And they've said, AMU have said that it's a choice. We have choices, and it's a choice to live a certain way, And they helped me come off. I'm off all medication now. I'm off everything.
Read
I,
that.
I'm like, now I won't say I have. There's times when I feel off kilter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of
Because of everything
course.
that's going on in the world, and different things that happen. But I have this pillar of light running through me, and I just know that everything's going to be okay. I have complete and utter faith. And I never had that before. And I know what that's like now, this faith, which grounds me completely and utterly in my own power, empowerment, to source. I'm empowered. And we're born with that. We're born, the crown chakra, which is the opening to the heavens. We are born with that. It's our birthright. We're born, the crowning, when the mother is giving birth, you crown, and the child comes out, baby comes out, the head first. The crown is the first point of entry to the physical world. And the crown is the opening to the divine for your whole life. And you are empowered through that connection for your whole life. And you don't even realize it, We go through these systems in life. We go through school system where, we go through all of these systems that disempower us, and knowingly or unknowingly, we go through these indoctrinations, let's say, and we lose that connection, we lose the feeling of empowerment, and then we think we have to defer to people who have more power than us, who are in positions of power, or who we think know more than us. And we lose the whole connection to our own intuition. And our own intuition is our own birthright. It is the DNA in us, and we're all individual, unique people. So our DNA is encoded for us, and we are unique on the earth, and we don't need to be like a herd. We can be unique. We can listen to our own guidance and our own feeling, and our own connection to God. And we can ask our own questions and receive our own answers for us in our lives, and that's, I suppose, the main message of AMU. The AMU are all about equality and empowerment. They're the two central themes that run through all the books: equality and empowerment. And we are all equal on this planet. And, you know, humanity has these man-made systems, structural systems, hierarchical systems, or whatever. But in the end of the day, if something doesn't feel right to us, it's perfectly okay for us to say no to that. That's not for me, sorry, you know, and stand in our own power. And that's, you know, I have a whole new appreciation for that now that I didn't have throughout my whole life. I suppose I would have deferred to other people a lot, you know, and yeah.
Definitely would have. I looked outside of myself for years and years. Anything at all. I'd ask loads of different people their opinions because
Yes,
I didn't trust my own.
yes, Jackie, I'm the exact same. I
Mm.
was the exact same. And it's only now that, and I'm still getting used to it, you know what I mean? It's new and I'm still sort of getting used to it.
They
But
still communicate. Oh, sorry.
yes, they do. Emu, yeah.
What sort of very regularly?
I mean, you know, when I sit down and ask a question, it just comes in, no problem. And
That's
I've tried,
amazing.
yeah, I don't want to become reliant on it either, you know, because you know what I mean? Like, I don't want it to become this kind of dependency kind of thing, but I know that it's there and
It's
it,
still within you. It's not like a dependency outside of yourself.
yeah, that's
It's
true.
checking in with you, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that is true. I mean, at the first couple of years, it was flooding in, and it was kind of taking over a little bit. You know, it was flooding in, like the portal was open and it was just flooding in. And I knew that there was themes coming to me in meditation that I knew they were trying to build something up, and they came up with the new concept of the Holy Trinity and different things, just new concepts and stuff that was to be shared, you know, and I kind of, I suppose I prioritized the writing during those years because I knew that there was something to come out that was going to help other people. So I prioritized that. And Ed was very understanding at the time because we were only newlywed, you know.
Really?
But he was very understanding of everything. And he was, you know, he didn't think I was going bonkers. He was like, yeah, it's grand, you know, everything's fine, you know. And so it was great having Ed at my side, helping me throughout as well, because it was a big change, obviously, you know. But so but now that the books are written, the 6 books came through, and there's another one sort of there's another one in process as well. But I'm taking it slower now, you know. I don't feel the sense of urgency anymore. I can just go at my own pace, you know. And it's just everything that comes through is so beautiful, so um benevolent, just lovely, you know.
Clarity of the answers as well are just really lovely, aren't
Yeah, yeah. Somebody else said that to me recently, actually. I'm having audiobooks. I'm working with a beautiful woman in the UK, Tara Dominic. She's a narrator and she's also an artist. And she also has just written her own book, which was also a channeled experience, you know. And she's lovely. And we've become very close throughout the process. And she's just finishing Mary's Choices. She's narrated the 3 books and she really got a lot out of them as well. And she said, she can feel it. It's taken so long. It's taken a long time to get the 3 books narrated, but it was because she had to keep stopping. She had to stop and digest it, you know.
Amazing, yes.
Yeah, but it's
Why
lovely to
didn't you
listen to them.
narrate it?
Sorry.
Why didn't you narrate it?
Well, yeah, I didn't have the skills or the equipment or anything or the time, to be honest.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah.
But now that I've met Tara, I feel it was a divine appointment.
Yes.
We're very close, and she's a wonderful woman, you know, and so I think it was destined to be that way, you know. Yeah.
I absolutely love that name. Do you know, I had a speaker right back in the early days, Aquarian Sun, and he not OCD or ADHD, but you know, someone, like when I was at the school at the learning support, there was a little boy there that was absolutely obsessed with the Titanic and knew
Yeah.
everything about the Titanic. And so Aquarian Sonny knows everything about sacred geometry. And he told me about the Tara stone in Ireland.
Oh, really?
Have you
Oh, okay.
heard of it?
The Hill of Tara, is
The
it?
Hill of Tara. And that
Yeah.
is apparently the central point for the entire world.
Really?
Yeah, and then when Sasha was over, Sasha Stone a month ago, or not even that, he went to the Hill of Tara and did a video from there because I said to him it pointed out to me it was the central point of the world.
Wow, I didn't know that, Jackie. I honestly did not
So
know
when
that.
you said about Tara, that came back to
Yeah,
me.
Tara's, yeah, exactly, because her name is Tara.
Exactly. What a lovely name.
It's a beautiful name, it is, yeah. Gosh, okay, that's it now. I know what I'm doing when I get home. Ed and I are going to the Hill of Tara.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Aren't you at home at the minute then?
No, we're in Lanzarote on holidays.
Say, how incredible.
Yeah, we're down here on holidays, but yeah, Ed had his hip replaced
No?
a couple of months ago. He had his hip replaced,
Oh
so
my goodness.
we were going through the recovery of all of that together. And he's doing great, but we badly need this holiday. We've just had a lot. There's been a lot of things going on over the last 6 months, so we're just trying to switch off. Yeah,
Do you think
but
we're being tested, like, as empaths?
we are being tested 100%. It's the only explanation for everything that's going on. It's one thing after another at the moment for so many people. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it's a test because I said this to Ed as well because the books came through and I know what I need to do now and I have the skill. I know what skill sets need to be developed and I have let's say the compass, let's say, you know what I mean? I have the toolkit, let's say.
mhm.
And now, and that came through, the last 3 years. And now I feel this year is the year of the opportunity to enact, to put all of that into practice in my own life, in our own lives, and to enact that and to develop the skills and to develop ourselves through that. And I think, the human experience is full of opportunities. It's full of adversity and opportunities so that we can grow and develop.
It's perfect. Do because I know I said a test, but actually we should rephrase that into an opportunity for growth. Yes,
Because it is, even
yes,
even though, because when you think about it, when we're young, we're conditioned to gravitate towards pleasure and try and avoid pain. We're
yes,
conditioned into that. But actually, the human experience is a mixture of both. So it's
yes,
great to have those beautiful, moments, but at the same time, it's absolutely okay to go through pain and go through suffering. That's part of the human experience. Anytime you lose somebody, you're going to suffer, and that's absolutely okay.
yes.
So or anything, it doesn't matter what it is. And they're the
You
fun.
have to have night to appreciate day,
Yes,
that
yeah,
type of thing. So you have to know pain to appreciate not having pain or yeah,
yeah, yeah, and it's okay to have pain. I mean, I always think back to the. I know not everyone is Christian, and not everyone likes to, ruminate or ponder the crucifixion. But I always think about the crucifixion because when I'm going through any sort of shit, I go, hang on a minute, let's think about the most pointed uh, suffering that a human went through, and I think about his experience and his mother who had equally the same experience in terms of pain. And I think about that and I think if all of my everything that in my sphere pales into insignificance when I think about that, and I just can draw on their strength, the strength and endurance that comes out of that experience. I can draw on that when I think about it, and they never relinquished their individual empowerment. They were completely aligned and never relinquished that extreme strength and endurance. And I get my strength from that when I think about it, when I think about that. And through the books, like I've really come to a new appreciation of Mary, the mother of Jesus. You know, I've just come to a whole new appreciation for her. What a woman. Oh, what a woman.
Well, do you want to explain then more about the three books and why that, because they're all quite different, aren't they?
Yeah, so the first one, Cracked Open, was really just about my awakening experience at the beginning, you know. It was kind of like the Q&A journals from the very beginning. Um, and I asked 125 questions and they were answered. And the first, you know, at the beginning, I started to ask about all the usual things we're all curious about, you know, like finances, you know, relationships, health, all of those sort of things. And then towards the, you know, a few months later, then I started to get impressions in meditations. And I knew that they were trying to, um, you know, trying to put something together through me. So I just ran with it, you know, and over the next 6 months or 12 months or whatever, it started to build up into a concept. So the second half of the book is more about that. But the first half was just my own curiosity and my own questions. And, you know, at the same time as the clairvoyance was sort of getting into a groove, you know, my visual side started to open up, and I started to see all these golden orbs everywhere, and all of the different lights, you know, the different colored lights, and the angels introduced themselves to me, the archangels. And yeah, it was really a very, very beautiful time. I started to see, like, in the trees, you know, all this golden light coming out of the trees, and just, I mean, I had my eyes tested. They said your eyes are perfectly fine. It was just absolutely beautiful. And I just started to, you know, see reality in a completely different way. You know, everything just opened up massively. I started like looking at little things. Just I was just fascinated with all these little things, like the daisies and the grass, and everything was just the water, you know. I get into the bath. I love a bath. I get into the bath and I just see these millions of golden orbs in the bath, and I'd just be just amazed at the beauty of the water and how alive it was in its own way and everything. It was just life was just this absolute paradise for 2 years. It was so beautiful. But then that sort of tapered out, you know what I mean? And I can still see the golden orbs when there's a lot of light. I can still see the orbs, but it sort of tapered out a little bit. You know, it was those first 2 years were such a gift, such a beautiful gift. And I just thought, oh, you know, and that they explained that that's the third eye opening out, and we can all tap into that. You know, it's just a question of asking and wanting it, you know, and it will come in, you know. So
Oh,
Cracked Open, and I called it Cracked Open because I was a tough nut to crack. I was a very tough nut to crack. I didn't. I suppose I had this calling maybe for many years, and I just ignored it, you know.
when you did not ignore it, I mean, you absolutely got on with it, because we're only talking 2021, start of 2021. And from that, you've written, well, you saying 6 books? I mean, I know about 3.
Yeah, 6. Yeah, the second book series is called The Golden Envelope, and that was about the invitation that we all have to enter into this age of love, you know, this golden
Oh,
beauty.
amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, love that. Well, then the second book is not really questions, the missing piece,
Yeah.
because you sort of go back over the first one and what that meant for you.
Yeah, and it was kind of that was kind of I suppose narrowing down the focus, let's say. So people who were not too interested in my awakening experience necessarily, but who may have wanted to learn something else, you know, about energy mechanics. So I was guided to write that because there was some new concepts in there that haven't been introduced before. So I sort of narrowed that down then and they explained a little bit more about you know, the primary line of energy through the human being from God, you know, the chakras, the 3 chakras, and they went into that a lot. And the missing piece being the feminine, the divine feminine, and we want to bring back balance again, you know. And
Yes.
the divine feminine is sweeping the earth at the moment. It cannot be stopped. It's flooding the earth through everything and everyone, you know. And it doesn't matter what gender you are, it's flooding through the earth. So it can't be stopped, which is very optimistic. It's an optimistic feeling, you know.
Yeah.
But a patriarch, you know, obviously the patriarchal system needs to sort of come back into balance. There'll be a period of flux, you know, where there will be a little bit of resistance to that, you know, and we'll see a little bit of um, resistance, but it can't be stopped, and it is going to happen, you know, and it is happening. And through that, when we get back to balance and we all get back to the feminine aspect of life, and you know, that will, you know, the maternal instinct. What is the maternal instinct all about? It's about, you know, what I mean, look at mothers, everything they do, Jackie. Look at mothers. I mean, I haven't had kids, but look at my own mother, what she did. And I look at all the women in my that I know who have had children. Look at what they do. It's unbelievable. Like there's so much that they do, you know,
Yeah.
and it's just amazing. And that is not appreciated enough in society. But that's, I know that's a different discussion. But you know, in the end of the day, that the maternal instinct is alive and well in all of us. And it doesn't matter if we're a man or a woman or how we identify, it doesn't matter. We all have 50% masculine, 50% feminine in our energy bodies. And it's
Mhm.
getting that back into balance. And that is going to create purity, pure energy, you know, is balanced. And the maternal instinct is all about, you know, nurturing, sponsoring,
Yeah.
sharing, you know, mothers always share. They share with their kids, you know, like
Absolutely.
all of that good stuff, you know, and
Yes.
that's going to come back in, you know, and it's going to permeate all of the different systems and institutions and all of the constructs in society. That's going to permeate in, and we're going to see big changes. It's going to be amazing, but we have a part to play in the co-creation of that, you know.
I
Yeah.
mean, I will just say about the mother thing. Um, I really didn't want to go back to work after I had children. I mean, literally, if my mum could not have looked after my children, I would never have gone back. You know, you think, how will I ever cope? Because I was probably, you know, a bit of the main earner at the time. And I
Yeah.
thought, how could I give that job up and have children, you know? But you do manage. Everyone says you will, and you do. But I did know I had to go back to some degree. And so I went back part-time, and my mum was able to look after them. But I really did. And when they went to school, I got a job at the school so that I was with them. I mean, I just didn't want to be apart from them. You
Yeah.
just don't, do you?
No, it's such
And
a
that's how government are sort of where they get you with the mortgage, that you've got to, and that's all going to change, isn't it? Do you see
yeah.
that changing, Louise?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think it's going to be much more. I think society is going to facilitate the sacred aspect of the woman, the woman and the child, the sacred aspect of the mother and the child. It's so sacred, and I think society over time is going to facilitate that. And so, if women want to be at home, that's okay. If women want to go out to work and have a hybrid situation, that's okay.
Yeah.
Whatever the situation, whatever the will of the woman is, you know, but that the sacredness of the woman and the child
Mhm.
is will be revered and appreciated a lot more in going forward, you know, because as you say, you know, this thing of like it's just hard, you know, because
So
yeah,
much.
it's hard. And it's the same with men, you know, some men want to stay at home as well, you know,
Yeah.
like want to be with their children. So yeah, and those formative years, those first few years are just
Oh,
so important, you know.
so important. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And like you said, you know, with your upbringing, you know, everyone does the best they can with what they know, and once you know better, you can do better.
yeah,
Um, but that's generational, because they did the best they could with what they how they were brought up. And we actually, I don't know if you agree, I don't know if it was a question. I've read a lot of the questions, but I don't know if I've read them all. Did you ask? We actually choose our mum and dad, you know, our
yeah.
parents.
Yeah, I actually didn't ask that question, but I kind of knew that. I felt
Mhm.
that. I felt that we
For the
choose
lessons
our
that we
calling
need in our life.
100%. And
Yes.
I did some forgive. I knew myself. I had a quite contentious relationship with my father, and then he passed, and I did a lot of forgiveness work around that when I knew that, because forgiveness is all about freeing yourself, obviously freeing your own heart.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And when you forgive, you're not only are you freeing your own heart, but you're applying that grace onto the other person as well, and then it frees them as well. It's actually amazing. The forgiveness process is really amazing, and I hadn't thought about that before, but I knew as soon as I received it, I said I have to do that because I wanted the healing and I wanted Dad to be free, to move on, and I wanted to be free as well. So I did that work through actually a very good friend of mine. She does angel healing, and she helped me with that. And it was in layers, it was in layers over a couple of years, and I
That's
don't
how we do. Yeah,
yeah.
that's incredible. Two things I just want to ask you that you touched on. One, when you say Jesus, some people say that it really is Yeshua. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, that's okay, I mean, I think terms are just terms, names are just names. AMU have told me recently that names and terms are just signposts for our understanding of each other's experiences. So words shouldn't be set in so much stone that it causes friction, and
Mm.
that as our awareness opens up and evolves, that the words and the language that we use can open up and evolve in conjunction with that, and that it's okay. So if somebody has a different term or a different name, that's absolutely fine. Um,
Mine in America, and she's very strongly thinking that it should be Yeshua and not Jesus. And so
yeah.
that's what made me ask that question. But also the other thing was that you mentioned about the archangels made themselves known to you. How do you know? Is it just a knowing that you know it's Archangel Gabriel, or you know it's Archangel Michael, or how do
Um,
you know that?
how I discovered it at the beginning was through color. So their ray of light started to come in a specific color, and I would see it, and then I asked the question, and they introduced themselves to me that way. So it was through the colors. So I knew that Michael was a kind of a dark blue, Raphael was a green, all the different colors. So, and
Oh,
that still happens, the colors come in sometimes in rays of light. Yeah.
how
Yeah.
lovely. So
Yeah.
and you then feel you can communicate with them.
Yeah, I mean, well, they're always there. They're there. They're omnipresent. They're there for everyone. And Metatron in particular, I say they don't really have a gender, but Metatron, the word Metatron, let's say, is the energy field that has been that I understand to they've kind of said Metatron is responsible for the ascension process and the light body of every human,
Oh,
not just here on the earth, but um, in
it's
other dimensions.
incredible, isn't it?
It's unbelievable, Jackie. I mean, honestly, I never thought. I mean, seriously, Ed said to me, it was so funny before I come on. Ed goes, "Do you honestly think like can you honestly imagine yourself talking about this sort of thing like 5 years ago?" I'm like, no.
Exactly. And have you ever communicated with Archangel Mike or Lord Melchizedek?
No, I've heard of him, but I haven't. No.
Oh, I've been told that that's who I have with me, and
Oh,
at the time I had never ever thought about him working with me, but it's the only one I've ever pictured.
oh, that's beautiful. Did you draw that? Did
I
you
did, yeah, I painted that, and
paint it? That's beautiful, Jackie. That is absolutely gorgeous. So it's a yellow kind of an aura with some orange in there.
yeah,
Oh, that's
but that
gorgeous.
was from a picture that I
Oh,
saw of Archangel Melchizedek
that's
or Lord.
gorgeous. That is gorgeous.
I don't know if because it's in a frame now, but when I've held it up before, it actually looks like his eyes are moving. I've had different people say his eyes move. or it looks like they're moving. But yeah, so Melchizedek, I mean, Andrew Hobbs, Tim Wilde.
Yeah.
You know, I was lucky enough to be the first one that said to Tim about, will you come and do a talk for me? And he said, oh, it's about time I got out there. That was in 2014.
Right.
And he always talks about, he went to see Andrew Hobbs, who's not doing the readings anymore, but he went to Andrew Hobbs, and it was Andrew Hobbs that said to him, and I was friends with Andrew at the time, but didn't realise that. And it was Andrew that had said to him that he had to get into the halls of Amenti. He was already in the cache, but to enter the halls of Amenti, he had to raise his vibration. And that's when he worked with Lord Melchizedek. And
Oh,
yeah,
that's fascinating, isn't it?
absolutely fascinating. Yeah.
Really, really is. That is amazing.
The things we've learned over these last few years is just incredible,
Oh,
isn't it?
it's incredible. I mean, I can only imagine everything that you've learned like since 2014. Like, I mean, I'm only at this 3 years, it's like it's a whole new world really. But it brings in such richness and texture, to your life, It's a beautiful thing, like.
Oh, I just know from reading what I've read in your books how it's helped you because, you know, you've had a few things going on recently, family-wise, especially your sister leaving for.
Oh, I know. Oh
Oh,
God. Oh, Jackie, I'm not joking you. Talk about a wrench. Her and her family were like the anchor point of our whole extended family, And the house everything was revolved around Neve's house, and all the Christmas dinners, all the birthdays, all of our birthdays were held in her house. Neve was just the most amazing person, like 10 years younger than me, but in some ways probably more mature than me, like, but she always organized everything, and did everything for our whole family. So but I know that she's gone on to live a great life in Australia, and I'm happy for them, but at the same time miss them so much, and it was just a real wrench, yeah, especially for my mom as well, but
oh gosh, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that would be for me. You know, I've got a lovely cousin out there and I know what it was like for his mum when they went.
Yeah, yeah,
So
but
sorry, we'll get back to your book. So the missing piece, so that was really bringing together what you'd found in the cracked open.
yeah, and it was kind of trying to focus on the missing element of of everything, which is the divine feminine, and to return balance and equilibrium, Um, so the missing piece being the divine feminine, really, Um, and then, because that's energy, I suppose, energy mechanics and understanding how to work with energy and how to co-create while we're here, involves that understanding of the feminine and the masculine, and the feminine was sort of taken out, so now it's coming back and everything else, but it's trying to understand that, they when they gave the new concept of the Holy Trinity, they were just trying to illustrate balance again and bring back a way for us to, I suppose, understand how energy works and contemplate the shape of life on Earth, the heaven Earth continuum, let's say. And the Earth, the energy going up from us and coming back down again, and the new book talks about a lot more about in detail about that as well, and talks about how it's an equal playing field, and we are co-creating. We have a very important role to play. Humans have a very important role to play in the co-creation of that, what it is that we want for the future, for the thinking about, the next generations. What sort of an earth do we want to leave behind, Jackie, and I suppose just helping to formulate some kind of awareness around that for the younger ones as well,
Just looking, I found the picture of us all in front of the Wells Cathedral.
Oh, brilliant.
And then we'll talk about the last book as well, Louise. I'll
Yeah.
just share this while I think of it because so many times I say I'll do something, and then when we finished, I've forgotten to show it.
No, I
So
know.
I've got the picture up of the Wells Cathedral first.
Oh, brilliant.
Isn't that? That was
Oh,
stunning that night. It was just beautiful.
look at that. Isn't that just, I mean, it's just such a stunning building, like, and the area was so, it just had this beautiful energy about it, you know? And I actually, it's funnily enough, I took a picture of Ed and I in front of it, like that, you know, a selfie thing in front of
Oh,
it.
right.
And there was a big rainbow light came out of it, came out of the Wells Cathedral. Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful.
Oh, God.
So, oh, look at that. Oh, that was great. It's such a great event.
Honestly, it was so good, wasn't it? It
And
was so beautiful there.
it was,
Anyway, yeah, so I just thought I'd share that while I thought of it.
was beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. It was just, it was very special for us, you know. And we're still talking about it. And we're like, we're going to go back to Wells. Like, we have to go back to Wells because it's just such a beautiful area. Oh my God, it's
Well,
fabulous.
yeah, definitely. I've been back a couple of times just because it is just so beautiful and it's so near Glastonbury,
Yeah.
6 miles from Glastonbury, but all those, well, all the walks around, and then there was that lane. Did you go down that lane?
Yes, we
Oh,
did.
I'll try and find a picture of that to share. But anyway, while you're talking about why you did the third book, which is Mary's Choices, because
Yeah.
this is very much about the feminine again, isn't it?
Yeah. So the third book, Mary's Choices, and it's really, that's really just kind of like a roadmap, let's say. So the 12 choices that Mary made. Um, I wasn't sure exactly what was going to happen with this book. You know, I was like, but it was just a very natural, again, natural channeling experience with AMU, and Mary's energy is contained within the AMU energy field. You know, because she was an ascended master in her own right, and she was absolutely amazing. Oh my God, she was such an amazing woman. Oh my God, when
You
she was
wouldn't have known any of this before you started that. Like you wouldn't have been even looking at that.
no, I mean, you know, I would have had an appreciation for the Hail Mary prayer, I suppose, you know, and you know, I had there was obviously an acknowledgement of her part, you know, in giving birth to Jesus, you know, but I had no idea that she actually ministered. She ministered throughout Jesus's, like she was with him the whole time ministering, and also after he died, she ministered. I didn't know that either. She went on and did continued on with sharing the light in the years following his death, which were absolutely. I mean, it's only because I can talk about it because I know it, I just feel it and I know it. But um, it's not a doctrine and it's not a dogma at all. But it's I know because it came through me. I believe it, you know. But um,
It's our own intuition and our own feeling, gut feeling. And yeah, if it feels right, and you're talking
yeah.
about the 12 choices that Mary made, that's really helpful to us in life.
Yeah, because there's 12, so basically 12 choices that we have that she had and that we also have, you know. So the choice to believe, to share the light, to accept the Sacred Heart, to love, to see with eyes of light, to choose, to live in mastery, to live in grace, to accept a balanced Holy Trinity, to lead and to trust. You know, they're the 12 choices. And those 12 choices were her choices throughout from the very beginning when she was seeded with the mission. You know, when she became pregnant, you know, the Immaculate Conception. I mean, I never believed in that. I'll be open and honest and tell you, I never believed in that. And now I know that it's true. And she was the example, the pointed example of the co-creation process, which is the Holy Spirit and the woman. So the Holy Spirit and the woman are always involved, no matter what. And that illustrates the sacred nature of the woman and the child, you know. And I never believed that before, and I believe it now, obviously.
Yeah.
But when she was seated with that mission from the very beginning, when Archangel Gabriel came to her, and she had a choice do I believe this visitation or not? You know what I mean? She had this choice. She believed it. She accepted it. She accepted the Sacred Heart. She gave birth to Jesus. She completely and utterly devoted her whole life towards nurturing him and making sure that he was prepared for his ministry. She tutored him, she sponsored him, she looked after him, you know, and she ministered alongside him when during the pivotal years in his 30s. And then she was there at the very end as well at the crucifixion, and her pain was equally that of his. And you know, after that, then resurrection and all the rest of it. But she made the choice to continue to share the light and minister, continue on with the ministry. But that's not. They were saying in the book that that's not adequately documented because she didn't have a team. She didn't have anyone to help her. So it's not. It didn't make it into the scriptures, but her contribution was equally as important as Jesus's was, and her gentle soul will be remembered for all of time. You know, she was absolutely beautiful, and she was the catalyst for his life from the very beginning till the very end. It couldn't have happened without her on the earth because she was the portal, and all women are the portal for all of life on earth. You know, and that life is that the forthcoming generations are impossible without women. And so the role of women is so like revered in the heavens, so revered. And think about it, you know, we go through this period thing, you know, we can start getting periods at the age of 13, we go through 40 years of that, whether we have children or not. It's a continuous suffering and a continuous sacrificial sort of thing every month that we do together as a collective to keep the population going. You know, I mean, it's an absolutely massive thing that is not probably just not recognized enough. You know, but
No, no,
yeah,
not.
yeah.
And then you talk about the menopause, which again, you know, there you go again.
There you go again. Oh, Jackie, don't even go there, I tell you. Yeah, yeah. I had it pretty hard for a couple of years. I mean, I feel much better now, but I had a couple of years of like feeling really awful with that as well in my late 40s, you know. Um,
Yeah,
but honest to God, all of that, and you know, they said that the woman is capable of all of that. That's why it is the way it is, you know, and that we
yes, the strength.
the strength,
Yes.
absolute strength, unbelievable strength. Yeah, you know, yeah,
Coming to an end now, Louise,
yeah,
because I think an hour is enough for people to, you know, keep
yeah.
concentration on what we're talking about. So I just finished, I will just show this. I haven't got one of the street actually without anyone in it, but Toby took a picture of Ellie and me walking down there. But that, when you first look through the archway down at
Oh,
that
look
whole
at that.
road,
Isn't that
it's like,
fabulous?
isn't it? It's like going back in time.
It's absolutely beautiful, isn't it? It's like going back in time. It's beautiful. That's a gorgeous picture. Toby took some fabulous shots, didn't he?
I
Oh,
honestly did, yeah, yeah.
absolutely beautiful.
And
Oh,
yeah, so if you go to Wales, if anyone goes to Wales, you go to that cathedral, down the street by the side of it, under an archway, and then you turn left into that street, and it's just incredible.
it's so beautiful. It's just beautiful. I can't even begin to describe it. It was absolutely fabulous. It was very special for us,
Yeah,
and we will definitely be back. But Jackie, I really appreciate you having me on. And I also really, really appreciate the work that you're doing to proliferate the light into the world, you know. Fabulous
thank you.
work, amazing. And you
Oh,
know,
I love
just
talking
off
to
to
you.
you.
So easy to talk to you because we'd not, other than meeting a year ago, and there were so many people there and things to do, you know. So, yeah, to have this opportunity to speak with you is wonderful, Louise, and you're doing a fabulous job. Yeah, you know, integrating everything that you've brought on in the last 4 years. Amazing.
Well, thank you so much again, Jackie. I really, really appreciate you just, you know, having me on, and just it's so lovely to chat to you as well. A year to it's kind of like our anniversary from Wales because
Yeah,
like a year
didn't
ago.
realise that when I said it, but yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
perfect. So that's lovely. And love to Ed. I hope he's, you know, really well on the mend with that hip operation.
Thanks a million, Jackie. And we'll keep in touch anyway.
Brilliant.
Thank you so
Okay.
much. All
Lots
the
of
best.
love.
God
Thank you,
bless.
anyone watching.
Lots of love. Bye.
Bye.